How's it going, everybody? This is Tom Driver. Hope you're having another great day, and welcome back to another video. Alright, it's time for another edition of Haulin Games. In this series, I'll talk about all the pickups that I get through PlayStations 1, 2, 3, and 4 throughout every month. And for this one, we're going to start out 2023 with our video game haul for the month of January of 2023. So in regards to the monthly haul for this month, there's nothing really spectacular in regards to this one. The two PlayStation 4 games that I got here, those are actually some big timers that I was able to get, and I'll get to those a little later. But everything else outside of like a couple of pickups that I got for, let's say, the PlayStation 2 here, there's nothing really spectacular here, but there are still a couple of pretty good finds, as I mentioned before. So we're just not going to waste any time. We're going to go ahead and get right into them right now. And we're going to start with our PlayStation 1 games, and the first three are all very similar. They're all flight combat simulators, so I'm just going to go ahead and go straight shooting into them. And the first one is called Eagle 1 Harrier Attack. This is almost like one of those, like US Air Force games where you're basically flying around and stopping your enemies, and as well as, like doing secret missions as well. And so there's nothing really spectacular about this one. Isn't there one of those war-based games that are taking place in the modern day scene? And so obviously nothing spectacular, but it's good to have. The next one I have here is called Starfighter. It's also very similar, however. There are some missions where you do end up in space as well, and really a lot of futuristic combat as well. So it's a pretty good one as well. And the other one is called Descent Maximum. This one has a lot going on to it. There's a lot of destructive weapons that you can use to attack your enemies as well, and just a whole lot of crazy missions that go along with it. And obviously, the first three games being flight simulators, they do have some of their similarities, but at the same time, they're really the same thing. There's just, like flight combat. It's really nothing spectacular in regards to all three of them combined. And so yeah, obviously all three of the games, including this one, they're all games that I never even heard of before this month, but I thought I'd go ahead and get them, and so they're pretty decent. However, I will have to play them a little bit more to see exactly how well they stand up, but they are pretty good so far. The other PS1 game that I got for this month is called Time Commando. Now, in this game, you're basically waking up somewhere in the near future in which there's a virus that's stuck into you, and you have to try to revive your own identity before the virus completely takes control of you. So you're basically going back in time, as well as, going into the future to do these various missions to try to see if you can save the world, and also, just recover your identity as well before the virus ultimately takes your own life. And obviously, there are times where you come very close to losing out. It's a really interesting action game, especially since it's more like futuristic, or at least it's meant to be futuristic. And so obviously, I felt like that this was a pretty unique one for this time that it was released. I mean, it's not really anything that spectacular out released, but hey, in the end, it was definitely worth a shot, and I felt like it's pretty decent so far, but I will look forward to playing this again in the near future. That's it for the PlayStation 1 games for this month. We're now going to move on over to our PlayStation 2 games. Now, there is one game that I got in the PS2 side that is really interesting that I managed to get. In fact, it's the one that leads it all off. It's called R-Racing Revolution. Now, this is a game that's part of the Ridge Racers franchise. However, it's more of a spin-off. You actually play in an actual story campaign in which you play as a character that is new to the racing scene, and you go through these various races to try to become the best racer in your league. And it's definitely a very interesting spin-off here. I kind of like the concept of this, and I am looking forward to playing more of this as well. It's probably one of the more better games in the Ridge Racer franchise outside of R4 Ridge Racer Type 4, but very good one. The other racing game I got is called Harley-Davidson Motorcycles Race to the Rally. It's basically that motorcycle game that's sponsored by the Harley-Davidson Motor Company, and you're basically just going to these various destinations trying to be the first one across the line, and you're racing in these really cool choppers. Harley-Davidson's, they make some of the best choppers there is in all of America. Here, you get to race them in various point-to-point races. Yeah, it's definitely very fun. If you're a guy that, enjoys country, it goes around, riding around on motorcycles. If you're like a motorcycle kind of guy, this is a kind of game that I really think that you would definitely get yourself hooked into. And so it's definitely a very interesting one. I kind of like it so far, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing more of this again. Finally, the last game for the PS2 is called Seek and Destroy. Now, this is actually created by the same creators that created Everywhere Road Trip and Gadget Racers. However, this one's a little different because this time, unlike those two in which they are racing games, this is a war-based game. You're actually destroying tanks, and also, going into destructive property to try to save your own town, because the enemy is taking control of multiple areas around you, and they're threatening to take yours. And so you're basically trying to save all the fellow people that are in your town by going after them and basically going after their tanks. It's part of the Trio the Coral Q series. Obviously, while Road Trip is the best, I definitely do like this one is a little bit more unique for its time, because unlike the other two, like I said before, it takes place in a completely different realm. And so, for them to really branch out a little bit and go into a war-based game, it was definitely a really nice attempt. I can't say it's any better than Road Trip, but you know what? Hey, it was definitely worth a shot. We're moving on now to our PlayStation 3 games, and there's nothing really special in regards to both of them here. They're both war-based games, and the very first one that I'm going to talk about here is called Battleship. Now, obviously, there is a lot of action that takes place in the sea, but there's also some first-person shooter as well. In fact, you're trying to stop aliens from invading your own country, and so basically you're trying to attack them from sea, land, and air. So it's definitely an interesting combination for a game that's really more designed to be like battleships or something like that. However, it's definitely a unique concept here. So I'm definitely interested in seeing how well this one goes. The other one I got is called Stormrise. It's basically very similar. It's a futuristic game in which it takes place in an Earth that's completely devastated. It's ravaged by these really various looking creatures, and really your world is being threatened. So basically you're trying to join up with your enemies and then save your own world by stopping these creatures from doing any more damage and, like ending civilization as we know it and all that stuff. And so almost very similar to some of those other games that I talked about in between. But yeah, obviously, as I said before, nothing special in regards to this month's PS3 games. They're both very similar in regards to like the plots and all that stuff. And really, yeah, it's just same combat. So nothing spectacular, but it's still pretty good to have. All right, finally, we're moving on to our PlayStation 4 games. And as I mentioned before, there are two games this month that really fit the bill, and we're about to see the both of them right here. These are really two of the big bangers that are very popular with modern day gamers. And the very first one of them that I got here is called Bloodborne. I've been searching for this game for the last couple of years now, and so it feels really good for me to finally add this into my collection. And it's a really interesting role-based game in which it's a really gothic world. You're in an ancient city, and these hideous looking monsters are out there everywhere around the city and the world. And so basically, with all the weapons that you have, you're basically trying to uncover some of your city's darkest secrets, just so that way you can try to survive. And so it takes a while to be able to complete this game, but still, when you get the hang of it, it is still a very enjoyable game. It's heavily considered as one of the best games of the 2010s, and really I can understand why. There's a lot that goes into it. I definitely feel like that the development of this one was really good in particular. So definitely a very good role-playing based game that's almost similar to games like Final Fantasy and all that stuff. And so this is one that I definitely really enjoy. And so I'm happy to finally have this one in my collection. I'm definitely looking forward to playing more of this. Finally, the other one I got for this month is called Doom. Now, those that remember playing Doom on the PC, if you were around during that time, that was one of the greatest PC games ever made. Well, they recreated this into a video game for the PlayStation 4 during the late 2010s, and just like the PC version, this one was really no different. It was spectacular, and playing this one for the first time, it was awesome. It's all very similar to the PC version of it. You're all going off against these alien-like creatures, and really just a whole lot going on in there, Obviously, your world is definitely in danger, and really you're just trying to fight to survive and all that stuff. You're trying to uncover a lot of these secret weapons and a whole lot of different secrets that go on, and really, you're just trying to save the world. And really, Doom is definitely a game, in my opinion, that stands out in my mind. It's very tough for them to try to be able to, recreate the magic that they had with this game back in the 1990s. But man, I feel like that they pulled it off very well. And I definitely understand why, just like the original version, this one was especially popular as well. I'm glad that I also have this one in my collection. It's definitely another fun one. And yeah, there's going to be a lot more alien hunting in this game within the near future. And that's going to do it for the first monthly haul of 2023. Not a whole lot to say about this. Bloodborne and Doom really fit the bill on this one. Our Racing Evolution was also pretty good, but after that, there's nothing really stands out in my mind in regards to all of them. But hey, for the first month of the year, you actually just gotta start slow here. And so obviously I feel like that this is a good start here, but as we continue to go forward, just like I did with 2022 and 2021, obviously the more games I'm able to get, hopefully the more standouts I'm able to get that can really fit the bill in regards to all my collections here. There's still a bunch of major gets that I'm still trying to find in my collection, and I'm definitely hoping that over the next 11 months, I'll be able to find them and be able to share them with you here on Haulin Games. Anyways, that's going to do it for another video. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you'd like to see more of my content, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when my latest video is released. Comment below for future suggestions for all my videos, whether it's vlogs, projects, or challenges, you name it, leave it in the comments below and I'll do my best to make them. As always, follow me on my social media. All the links are in the description below. That's going to do it for another midweek upload. Hope you're having another great day. As always, I hope to see all of you again in another video very soon. So long, everybody.